This episode's going to be all about preparation for a big trip we've got planned. So we're heading down to the Dewar River on a private property. Now I've put all my resources and energy into getting my 79 up and registered and ready to go. The boys at TJM have done the suspension kit, the pre-rego GVM upgrade. We'll have a look at that in a minute, the progress, we go for a visit. Toyota's taking the truck today actually. Trey's getting fitted today. Now we leave in 2 days. I was so hopeful of having the compliance plate, the governing body compliance plate from the for the GVM so that Toyota can register the vehicle. But I'm told that that's not going to happen. So what the mission now is to try and put a bit of energy into getting the dual cab Hilux ready. We're in a panic. We're going to hook up the trailer, duck down to Russellvale where the Hilux has been sitting at Turbo Glide. We're going to bring the dual cab home, and if all else fails with Toyota not being able to register the 79, what we're going to do is we're going to use the ln106. Now in the meantime, let's have a visit to TJM Chipping Norton, have a look at the progress on the 79. Oh, it's a lot bigger, isn't it? Go stand up against it, up against the door. I just lifted it up heaps. And we've got the 600 kilos in the rear, 600 kilo constant. So it's going to need weight on there. As you can see, that shackle angle's not real good, be bumpy. But once the tray goes on and we load it up, well, that's what we've done it for. The weight to carry bullet truck. Bob's chosen the 3-inch coil for the front of this, the 75mm one. Now it's a 60 kilo one. It'll be a nice, soft, comfortable 3-inch coil we're using. This kit also comes with a 3.5 degree caster correction on the front radius arms. Wheel alignment's been done before Toyota have taken it back as well. Made a massive difference just driving around the local suburb. There's a couple of hills that we know what gear we're in and what spot of the hill that I need to gear down. So it'll be a good little test this. And then we're going to head out to Bob's and pick up all the old suspension. So we'll get to do some highway work, cleared the trip meter so we can do a bit of a fuel comparison as well. So city driving, I've felt such a difference. So responsive now, and second gear goes for so long, it doesn't fizzle out. You're in third gear and that rev range around the 1800, 2000 is just so responsive. I mean, we're only running a small tyre, but you know, fixing that with diff gears once we do go a bigger tyre, it's a really, really big change. Good little test coming up, this one. So this is the kids' school. This is a hill I do every day, and I know it can't hold third gear. So we'll see now. The turbo in, if I don't get cut off here, yeah, I'll be able to start the hill in third. It's quite a steep hill. The 79 used to eat it quite easily, but I used to have to gear down, and it's still holding. The revs aren't dropping. Just now they are. Yeah, it's a big difference. I got to the top in third and I started quite slow at the bottom. How good are the quarter windows? Back out at TJM to grab the leaf springs, the coils and all the shocks, all the bits and pieces that were taken off the new 79. I was very lucky they had a red arc brake controller in stock that wasn't allocated to a job. Now in TJM's GVM upgrade kit, everything gets changed. The fixed pin gets changed, obviously the bushes, the shackles get changed, and also the U-bolts. The shocks will be just a tad short for the front of bullet, but the U-bolts, they'll come in handy as spares. So we run the Cruiser U-bolts on the flip plates here and on the 80 series rear diff. In the rear though, we have a potential spare shock there for the back of the bullet. So still no word on the compliance for the 79. So with the brake controller, come tomorrow if I haven't heard anything. We're going to need to use this Hilux as one of the tow vehicles. So I'll put the red arc brake controller in it, and then we'll be taking this down to Dewar. So the other thing that I need to do is, apart from service it properly, is extend the breathers. worked out awesome that I'd pre-fitted that snorkel before we fitted the turbo. I'll pop into Pertec on the way home for some hose, and then Super Cheap Auto for a couple of filters for the end of the hose. There's the old clutch there, but this is where it would have failed us. So at 100, we got the revs there, putting the foot down, speed starts to increase, but the revs only increase with the speed. Whereas that was quite good actually, that went up 10k quite quickly. But what it was doing on the dyno wasn't holding, so it was revving, so it was slipping. Have a look at this clutch. So see, this half has no wear at all, and here's your heat spots where it's been grabbing. So what we think is it's been put on, and it's been put on crooked by the previous owner. So it would have been fine. I felt like it was okay, but just with the extra power that the turbo's got, it did start to slip. And even on this side here, that looks very clean. And then there's deep grooves on this side. So again, it's saying that it wasn't fitted square or straight. So we got an Exity Safari Tough, the sports one. They're very soft in the L-motored Hiluxes. Very nice feeling clutch. But let's have a look under this bonnet, shall we? Nice does that look? It's just so neat compared to any of the turbos I've fitted where we've made up our own crossover pipes. This is a true professional job. And John and the boys, they accommodated the extra work with the clutch. The truck had to stay in there a little bit longer, but it wasn't a drama. This is an oil-cooled turbo. It's got the return going down there. He's put a heat shield up against the booster. New exhaust. It's all been set up on the dyno, so as far as numbers go, the numbers are good, but it's also safe. We're at about 7.5 to 8 pound boost. He's got all the pyros and everything set up, so they're safe. I don't need to run any gauges for the moment. We've set it up so that I know I can tow and not get the EGTs too high. It's a Garrett T25, this one, and they do 2 in their kit, and this is the bigger of the 2 that they use. So his plumbing marries up to the stock air box, so it's no good me at the moment fitting in the surf one, as it's all plumbed in quite neatly and nicely. We've got the 3 new belts on, so I can put that bash plate, that factory bash plate back on. So you can see coming off the dump pipe, we've got a new exhaust. It's quite a bit tight to that transfer case. I probably wasn't involved in that as much as I thought I was, because we'll be pulling this transfer out to put the reduction box in, and then we're running up to a fairly big muffler, so we could get a bit more of a whistle out of it and a bit more sound if we choose to. Plenty of clearance. Anyway, we'll sort that out when it's time to do the reduction box. Just putting the old clutch in the garage here. I notice I've got a flexi there anyway, so we might be able to use that flexi. They're good to have, I feel, the flexi, especially hardcore off-roading. And then I've just reminded myself that I've got a brand new set of 700 kilo constant parabolics. I ended up getting the whole kit off Terrain Tamer last year. Can't use them on the portaled 79 for the next build. Lee wants to run a Tough Dog spring in that. And I've got the 600s in the TJM GVM kit. So we'll see how they go. You can see here too, I haven't seen one of these on here for like 30 years, when the ln106s were quite new, but there's the original bash plate still on there, covering the double cardan joint. So I'm gonna have to take that off to get grease in there. Makes the maintenance process just that 5 minutes longer. The ultimate suspension, probably the best suspension there was back then for leaf springs. Everybody was sought after. Ken and Brendan knew what they were doing. They could get leaf springs to do crazy stuff. We ran them in the 2002 Tough Truck Challenge. Most of the boys in the Comp Truck Hiluxes ran them. Got to top up that clutch fluid I see here. Oh, what's going on there? The colour of that. See the colour of that oil? Like chocolate milk. We'll have to see to that, but we've got so much to do if we're going to get this truck ready for this trip. I want to do the diff breathers, I want to change all the gear oils, I've got a water tank to fit. So I'm going to set GoPro up here just to give me an idea on you know, how lean or rich we potentially running. John's got it set up to spec on the dyno, so this might even give us a chance to hear it. I hope the camera doesn't fall off there though. What do you think? Do you like it now?
Yeah.
Because it's got the turbo on, it's quicker, isn't it? And you like it. That's cool. Because you didn't like it before, did you? Oh. But now you said, what does it sound like?
Bullet.
Sounds like bullet. So here's the dyno report, before and after. So with the torque, before we had 171 Newton meters at 86 kilometers an hour. And then after, we had 227 Newton meters at 67 kilometers an hour. So power in kilowatts before was a measly 40.8 at 117 kilometers. And then we gained 10 kilowatts. So we're 50 kilowatt at 114 kilometers an hour. So it's a big increase. And believe you me, you can feel it. I towed the trailer this morning with the quad bike on the back. And that would be about 760, 780 kilos. And it was a big difference compared to what it was without it. Just about to hit 100k since we've had the turbo fitted on that full fresh tank of juice. So we'll pop into the BP and have a look at some figures. But the first click mark, what, 7 litres, just over 7 litres. So we managed to sneak in another litre, so that's amazing consumption. Bought a couple of these water tanks. They're just so very handy to have behind the back wheel on the tray. I've had them on a couple of other vehicles. So these ones look quite tidy. They've got a threaded insert in the poly here, so basically all you got to do is cut a bit of aluminium with a couple of holes. This 3mm angle, 40 by 40, that'll do the trick. Beautiful. So Phil just called me and he said we're good to go, because we weren't sure about getting onto the property. A couple of the parts of the river there, a couple of crossings that were high. So anyway, we've just been given the all clear, and I haven't heard from Toyota, so we're mocking this up as a backup plan to be able to tow the Jayco, and now it's happening. Gonna put a bead of silicone on this just to help with it sticking. Guard off, then we can sit it in position, see where it's going to sit the best. I don't want it too close to that wheel, but I need to be able to screw it to the ribs. The other thing I'm going to do, I've got the mark of the width of it. I'm going to run a bead of silicone on each of the ribs, and that's going to help to hold it. But it looks really good. It's so handy having water containers on your ute at work, and the kids love it, washing their hands. It's good too having this 30 odd kilos right in this back corner. As we all know, these Hiluxes, they start to dip, drivers front down. So this will kind of counterbalance it. I remember one time when Millie was very young and we were up the beach. She might have been in my white dual cab, and she got a bit of sand in her eyes. From that day on, we've never had a truck without a water tank on it of some sort. The other thing I'm going to do while I'm here this morning is the extended breathers. So we'll take the factory breather off here, and then what I like to do is put a bigger barb on for a bigger hose. Front as well. A bit of slack there for the droop, and then we'll just tie it off as high as possible with some zip ties. So that's the front sorted. The rear, I'm going to drill a hole in the tray and go as directly down as possible. Ready to take on the crossings now. When the toolbox does go back in, I'll bring that breather up through it like I normally do. An early morning shock change before we load this onto the trailer. Our Phil's going to take it down for us in his work and play. So the story is we're going to use the Fortuner to tow the caravan. Shell will drive the dual cab Hilux with the bikes and the kayaks in the back, no trailer. And then when we get down there, I'll hook up the caravan to the Hilux and we'll tow it into where we're camping. So all the four-wheel driving and hard stuff, we'll get the Hilux to do. So yesterday we worked out what the dual cab can actually tow. My lovely assistant here is going to
So mean.
take a photo first. Are you?
Yeah.
I think we should sand it with some wet and dry. But you want to do like a... That's the pity the kids aren't here. It's like a treasure hunt.
See if this works.
No, plan B. Wet and dry paper. What it'll do, it'll take the paint off and it'll show the... you're getting big numbers. I'm worried the springs are going to sag too far. We think that weighs about 1800.
It says here 1500.
1500 braked or 1500 non-braked?
I don't know what where we'd see this. Where it says
Some tow bars say braked and unbraked. Like
phone call from Zimbabwe.
phone call from Zimbabwe. All right, well I'll get onto this. Maybe they know about Hiluxes. They do over there. Okay, I'm going to try a different way. I told her I'd just try one little corner. Because it's really fine. It's like a polish. It's not actually sanding anything back. This could be a problem. If it says ball mass 100 kilo maximum, the Jayco's more than that. Does that mean we can't go away? All this effort. 79, where are you? Yes, Shell was right with her theory. She came up with the same numbers in a lot less time. So not only is she pretty, but she's clever. So it looks like we're in trouble. Got my glasses now so I can read this, but it's not good news. So maximum towing's 1500 kilo with a ball weight max of 100 kilo, as you see the drawing. Walk over into Panda Bear. And what do we have here? This says that we are tear weight of 1577 with an empty ball mass of 145. So we're over. We legally can't take it. Shell's been shopping. How long do you think we're going for?
You never know when you might get stuck.
Good work. Yes, we know about the Jewel River and getting stuck, don't we?
Yeah.
That's us up to date. So you've seen a bit of the progress on the 79, under the bonnet of the Hilux. So the next couple of videos are going to be of us on this trip that we're heading away to. So stay tuned for that. It should be exciting, especially if the crossings are high. And as always, thanks for watching.